Obviously going to be a tough one, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is the knockout stages. We're here in the lower bracket. One team will stay home and the other one, yeah, like I said earlier, they're still also staying home. There's really not much progress to be made right now in the world, but it is going to be Cerberus versus Full Sense. They have got to pull out all the stops here, and we've got ourselves a ball game.
Absolutely so, and you got to bet that CES also going to be pulling out all the stops right here. It seems like they are assuming a bit of a default position here. Akashi just staying there. He does get spotted by John Olsen over there in Halls. Action ensues.
Lamy Snacks does get one picked off, excuse me. DAY2. It's good for the trade here, and that's going to leave A little bit more vulnerable. Loki going to slow down from now as they do get slowed down by that tripwire. Suka is able to find information onto one, and the players here towards Halls going to be exposing themselves right now, but John Olsen gets behind them. The players in Halls now very, very much in a bad spot. Suka spots the head, but so does John Olsen, and in the end, it's a triple kill right here. Starting strong from John Olsen. Viminal,
yeah.
We've come into, we've not questioned, but like really thought about John Olsen and his performance in the previous few days here, even in the group stages. It hasn't exactly been sparkling for him. He's been sort of a little bit hit and miss, and I feel like this might be it has a little bit to do that he's also in a stage of transition. He's veering away from that traditional hard entry jet role. PTC is now playing a little bit more of a playing more of that duelist, and John Olsen's playing a little bit more back to support them. And this might be why they're still, I'd say, figuring things out right now.
Yeah, definitely a transition point is a good way to put it. Most of these members on the side of Full Sense, they're a bit of, like all of them are sort of flex players in their own right. They often switch roles. For the side of Chalala, John Olsen and PTC in particular. But trust me, John Olsen, when he was in KPC, he was bringing in the fire, just like PTC with that shot to Loki.
The last remaining Thai team here will have to bring the Thunder for their region. I mean, coming into this, Thailand, probably the arguably best country to be playing for Valorant and in general the FPS community. They have been looking pretty shaky, especially after X10's loss. Now Full Sense having a little bit of trouble, and you're now starting to see Viminal, a lot of emergence of new powerhouses. Vietnam showing that they've got the chops, they've got what it takes to make it, all the way into the finals. They got 2 teams through. Thailand, they barely almost didn't get any. Philippines, they only had 1. And Indonesia lost their top seed. So things are very much topsy-turvy and up for grabs right now in the balance of power here for Southeast Asia.
That's absolutely true. And we didn't expect Vietnam as a region to be this powerful. And that just goes to show that just because one team is not as visible as the other, doesn't mean that doesn't mean the team that is more visible is way stronger.
Oh, yeah.
It can actually work the other way around.
You're absolutely right, and I think that applies to Southeast Asia as well in general. Nice shot right there from Lamy Snacks, though, to find the head of DAY2, and that's going to be 1 rifle out of the hands of Cerberus, but they're going to be making a little bit of a rotation here towards A, as Lamy Snacks will get swung out here. He's not going to be able to get out. Kishi swings wide around the corner, is able to trade the frag and get us 4-4. Kishi does have that ultimate available very early on. The Seekers, so good on a big map like Breeze, and that's going to help them really get onto site. And they're going to want to take those long-range duels, those long-range engagements. Nice tag right, however, from PTC. He gets that tag onto Kishi, but the frags double from Loki to open up the site, and they're just mowing them down. Shalalala. Good attempt, but in that bonus round, they claim to. So it's still a decent bonus round in the middle.
I mean, for the side of CS, they definitely did well to secure that first buy round for them. And I'd just like to point out, Estrada is just for Kishi right there. It's so easy to grab the orb over there by the shop. And when you're that Sky, you just basically have your ult up every damn time. And that's why Sky is so good in this map.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. having the access to those ultimates on a big map like Sky, Breeze, it just helps you out so much right here. PTC going with the operator early on. He's gonna know that there's a turret right beyond that wall, and Suga just might be in a world of hurt if he swings a little bit too slowly. Red spot the foot. Oh, baits out the shot there. And that's enough to give information that PTC is opping there towards A. So that's going to be a response here from Cerberus as they do rotate around the map and try to secure a little bit more positioning towards that mid area.
Kashi just trying to gain a little bit of information over there in halls, just trying to make sure it's clear. Little does he know that perhaps Loki is going to be right there.
Yeah, but the footsteps have been heard, though, so they're going to know that they opened the door. They're going to second-guess themselves a second or two. They still have 3 players stacked up there towards A. But the full rotation now coming in here for Cerberus as they do try to secure B site. They will attempt it at the very least. The full execute should be coming in any second. It's all about how they can get the entry. DAY2, he's not going to be there with them. Instead, trying to cut off rotations towards that mid door. The flash is coming through. They're going to make a full hit onto this side. Only 2 players, to sort of hold them back. And one is going to be John Olsen, who gets a nice shot onto the dome right there of Kishi, bringing us to a 4v5. And they do have an advantage. With weaponry in their hands, they could go for that retake play here. But John Olsen looking to deny them again with 3 kills here. They're traded out eventually, but with 10 seconds left on the clock, it's Akashi to find a nice shot. They still have to find the spike, though. Even though the shots are beautiful, it's a 1v1. And PTC with the operator. Let's see how he's going to handle this. Does go up onto Nest, but Akashi's able to get out of dodge. Doesn't really have very much to work off, but he does have a recon to slow any push, and PTC's position is exposed. Trying to spam through, but now his position is exposed as well. So it's a big information game for the both of these guys. Trying to swing wide here. PTC jiggle peeks. Sees him around the corner right there, and PTC has to move. He's got to get close. He has to defuse the spike, and no, not at all, because Akashi peeks out a little bit prematurely there, and PTC was absolutely ready for it.
Really love the movement coming in from Akashi. The mind games were real, but PTC just staying cool, calm, and collected, waiting for the right opportunity for Akashi to peak a little bit prematurely there. But very well played coming in from Full Sense. I just got to commend John Olsen just holding down B side. Take a look at this replay. Check out that multi-kill. That would have been
right there, and PTC
done and dusted.
He's got to get close.
If he got that kill.
Spike, and no, not at all, because I want to go back to that point real quick since we're going to an eco round. You know, you mentioned something about Vietnam. Just because a region or a country isn't necessarily that exposed doesn't mean they're not good. That applies to Southeast Asia in general. I think as the rest of the world is starting to wake up to the fact that, hey, Southeast Asia is here too, we might not be as good as everybody yet, but it's building there. It's getting there. And we're seeing the drastic exponential improvement of a lot of these teams here. Oh, wow. Okay, he actually won that duel. Up against an Opera of PCC. Might have been looking at the minimap. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, Southeast Asia could be very much a sleeper region, given enough time to be awoken from this dormant state that they have been in for the multitude of times. But and as I say this, of course, this round isn't as clear-cut as we thought it would be, but just the region in general of Southeast Asia has been building up to this point where it's starting to wake up. Much like in other esports titles where, you know, the rest of the world starts to catch up with maybe the Western world, NA or EU, who did get ahead of the pack and maybe started playing a little bit earlier, you see other regions start to creep up. Sort of like how Korea got in with League of Legends, or, you know, same thing with other titles as well.
Very true. I mean, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the other regions to catch up, and when they do, boy, did they come back with a vengeance. I mean, for Southeast Asia, culturally, this region is a melting pot of cultures, of influences, and that kind of reflects in various gameplay styles as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's just so many different playstyles in the region, and when they all come together and amalgamate, it's just really one way of supercharging each other, because you get all these different teams, all these different playstyles from different nations and different regions from all across, and it really makes for a way to grow, and that's, I think, one of the strengths of Southeast Asia. But let's go ahead and talk about the round for now, because it's an A execute coming in. Superbus The great hold. You know, we talk about this guy. He's one of the great defensive players from his team. Every single time he gets a triple before he goes down, Suka's right there to match him tit for tat. Lockdown will be deployed just to buy himself a little bit of time, but he's stuck between this wall. And now he's brought it back to a 1v1. He will wait for the right moment. PTC has the operator. PTC has clutched this before. But just as he gets within range, he gets closer, trying to creep up. PTC not allowing for any opportunity here, walking just to make sure he doesn't give away any sound cues. But Suka, he's going to get the timing right. He's going to guess correctly. 4 kills to respond to Superbus's hold of 3. And that leads into a great round from Cerberus getting their second.
So many instances throughout the 6th round we just had was it coming down to a 1v1 at the very end of the round. A bit of a nail biter, this one. The way we start things off with CES versus Full Sense. So the score is 2-4 in favor of Full Sense. They're up by 2. PTC having a Blade Storm here. Superbus having a Viper Spit as well. Then again, Akashi has a Hunter's Fury, so they could still make a play here despite everything is said and done.
This is one of the maps, Breeze, which really lends itself to an operator on the attacking side by just the sheer breadth of it. Oh, okay, PTC pushing there through elbow. He's gonna get one, but refrag is immediate. DAY2 denies him, but still, that's the most dangerous of weapons out of the hands of Full Sense. No more Blade Storm. All they're left with is 4 Sheriffs. Now, they've been very good with it before. It's just that the effectiveness of the Sheriff on a map like Breeze is a little bit muted, a little bit attenuated, just because of how big the map is. You know, you get that 145 damage, you don't necessarily secure yourself a headshot kill with it, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to close out those rounds. And the crossfire's a little bit harder to set up unless you're playing really close to each other. Now, good shot from Loki and DAY2, and that should pretty much secure the round here for Cerberus.
DAY2 just creeping through that smoke. See if we can actually get Lamisax here. Actually, taken down by Suka here. Still gonna have the blades there. Superbus is gonna get spotted out. Again, denied the kills there, DAY2. Feel sorry for you, but yeah, he's gotten enough. And he's gonna have his time to shine, of course. But to drive your point home, Illustrato, about the operator, it's very interesting to point that out. Because in a way, at my perspective at least, as someone who doesn't really main an operator, it seems like there's a lot less risk involved if you're using an operator on attack side Breeze compared to other maps, right?
Oh yeah, like that you don't get rushed as easily as like in Bind or something, like even if you do peak mid. Even in Showers, it's still a very big risk here. There's just so much more room to play with an aggressive op. Not if you get Viper's Pit like this though. Yeah, there's just nothing that you can aim into. You might be able to pop some shots and get lucky.
Maybe a lucky shot, a little bit of pre-aim here and there.
Okay. Yeah, it's not going to happen though, because it's going to give a lot of information, because you don't... Generally, if you see the op on the attacking side, that's kind of where the rest of the team is. Because you, for the most part, will never see a lurking operator all alone. So firing a shot like that just to get lucky is a very big disadvantage unless you have a very specific plan behind it.
PTC on the overlook over there onto mid door. But Seekers are going to be out, Illustrator. I wonder if he can still hold down that angle. He's probably not going to reposition just yet. Oh, he holds it down.
I take that back. He doesn't miss the time. He actually just gets one before Shalalala follows up with a second. And this is looking like a solid hold right now up until that Hunter's Fury. He's able to get a one, but there's still 4 more to find here. And DAY2, this is what I mean about the difficulty here with the lurking operator. It's very hard to do unless you're supported by a teammate who's there to help and flash for you. That's going to leave DAY2 all alone with the operator. And still lands a nice shot, but immediately traded out by Superbus. And this gives Full Sense another lifeline into this one.
You know what? Taking a look at the scoreline right now, considering Full Sense is starting on defense, rumor has it, Illustrato, that this map is rather attack-sided, more so than defense-sided. So, I mean, if they're starting out really well on defense, then that is a good omen for them coming on to the second half later on.
I think, however, that even if the map is a little bit attacking sided, there are a couple of things to consider into that factor. Like, you have to take into consideration the rotation time for the attacks. It's difficult to go for fakes because of the amount of time that you have to rotate. The amount of utility you have to invest into taking a site is a little bit significant as well. So there are trade-offs, and it can be difficult for the attacking side, but it's going to be a nice shot right there onto PTs who tried to get aggressive towards mid. But in the end, it will go for a 1-for-1 exchange for both teams.
DAY2 just waiting for that toxic screen to go down. Seems like Loki's gonna get spotted out though. Does get tagged. John Olsen takes him out here. Superbus left alone. His own devices trying to defend the site here. Suka just grabbing the orb. Perhaps just maintaining a little bit of presence there before they actually execute. Perhaps through mid doors here.
They do have Lammy Snacks to contend with, who is just holding off the other side of that wall. And this is a tough spot to clear out, especially when you don't really have a flash. He wins it anyway. DAY2's all too aware of the possibility that there is going to be a player here, but they still have to deal with Superbus as well, who is, for the most part, one of those actors that you can always rely on to at least get one. And so he does. DAY2, it's a great round for him as he finds 3. The spike is dropped in an awkward spot, and that forces him out of position here. And that's going to be super duper tough to recover, as Suka is going to have to go out and push his way in there. He's going to get swung from all the way back. And that one pickoff from Full Sense allows them so much more of a chance in that round because of how far back you have to go and recover it. That goes.
3-6 now in favor of Full Sense. I might be wondering, Illustrator, why John Olsen is not on that jet. Well, sometimes he does, but PTC, when he does play jet, statistically, he actually frags out even more than John Olsen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Right?
And I think that's also supplemented by the fact that John Olsen is really good at learning how to support for his team. He's becoming one of those players that is just very aware of attacking plays and even defensive plays, knowing how to set up for his teammate because he's been in that position. He knows what it's like to be playing that aggressive jet, and so he knows when to flash, how to set up for his team, when to peek here, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing for this round. And Cerberus, though, they don't really have a lot in the tank, but DAY2 with a couple beautiful nasties. Still, it's a 3v3 though, as John Olsen looks to clean things up yet again. Triple kill for him right now, and all he needs is a pixel to work with. One of those players that just can step up when he's absolutely needed, is able to hit a home run most of the time, and this only leaves Kishi and Suka on this retake. Still, already a successful round. Cerberus, they get 2 kills in the plat. They're going to be very happy with that. John Olsen will find his 4th and give him a little bit of confidence booster progressing into this game.
It seems as if every time DAY2 just makes a huge impact on the field, getting a 2K, it's just John Olsen saying touche with a 4K, at least in that particular round. And that's been a narrative pretty much this entire game. John Olsen, my guy, this man is playing out of his mind. 16 frags.
Oh my god, 6. The next person is 6. He's 10 kills ahead of Superbus. That is something to be. And you know what makes this really special, Viminal, is when you have a player that can top frag like this and at the same time support your team, you know you've got a gem on your hands. This is a player that can go the extra miles, that can really, really dig deep and find and create openings for your team. This is John Olsen at his fullest here. And one of the reasons why their theory was to swap him out of, sure, he can win on the jet, but I want to see what he can do on support as well, and clearly he can deliver.
I can imagine the coach be like, all right, John Olsen, you're going to insta-lax guy from now on. It's just such a perfect hero for his play style and his level of skill, but PTC off to a cheeky angle over here. Oh boy.
I think this is the same thing. Like we talked about this earlier in the previous game, where a lot of the top duelists are actually learning to sort of switch over. I mean, you saw this with Vision Strikers, you saw this with Forsaken on Paper Rex, who has been playing more and more support now. And that's sort of been the evolution here, not just in Southeast Asia, but in the world of Valorant in general. Before I get onto that, a good flash. John Olsen! What?
Again?
Oh my god, John Olsen! Baby, what is that shot right there? Such a crispy shot on him this time, leaving us in a 2v2, and he is making life hell for Cerberus right now, throwing them all the way back past the pits of Elysium. Now it's DAY2 in a 1v2, and he has got a world of hurt if he can't even pick up this spike.
You know, Cerberus, looking like they're going through a living hell right now. It's all because of Mr. John Olsen right there with DAY2. He only has a few seconds left to plant the spike at a 1v2 situation. He's just gonna get peeked by Lammy Snacks just like that. Secure the round. 8 points on the board for Full Sense. CES fighting an uphill battle. Doesn't look like they're gonna be able to claw their way out of this one just yet. We're still on the first half.
This is just the first half, and they're already pulling out the big plays. My God, I'm absolutely...
John Olsen going for a world record here, Yostardo.
My God, what a player here. Cerberus, though, they're getting shut out. And it's looking like Full Sense, what we're seeing from them. Oh my God. That was a flick and a half right there from PTC. For a moment, you'd think that I thought that he didn't have the accuracy on because he was just moving to counter strafes just in time to find another confidence play from PTC, and one by one he finds the shot, leaving it all up to Suka, who does have the lockdown, but will it matter as he's tagged up and he's getting swarmed out? The utility flying his way, he is dead to rights here. My God, Viminal, it just seems like Full Sense. They're pulling out a full Orpheus right now, just going to the gates of hell and pulling back, but this time they're not turning around.
You know, Full Sense with a fantastic performance thus far. And honestly, I had an inkling, Illustrator, that they are going to be waking on up this time. Today is going to be the day that Full Sense is going to be back on track in the same fashion that we know and love them to be. And I'm happy that they're reassuring me, judging by how they play right now.
Spike.
This is a brilliant defensive side here from Full Sense. Not only because they're playing very structured and very surgical with how they defend, but they know when to go for those confidence peaks, those just Ferrari peaks that they've been pulling out. It's just so difficult for Cerberus to counteract that, and it seems like they are struggling, Cerberus here, to find an opening, a gap. They found it at the start of the game, but to recreate that success just been proving nearly impossible here for Cerberus.
PTC is going to be taking the first split onto Suka. Kashi will be taking down Superbus. Kishi here and DAY2. One enemy remaining here for the side of CES. If they take this round, is a 9-3 curse real, Illustrato?
Oh, well, you might not be wrong, because we have been seeing some crazy comebacks here. In that last game that you casted, we thought we were going to be taken for a short trip, but it was a long, wild ride down Insanity Lane. And PTC here could take us for another trip down the rocket ship, and he's going to land one with 3 kills. Akashi's there to bring some balance into the universe, and this is a very, very big chance here for Cerberus to claw their way back from the depths of Tartarus.
You know, that was kind of a messy first round coming in from that pistol. A lot of the action happening over by the stairs outside that door. So, kind of curious as to how exactly that happened, but I mean, that's how it went during that first round. Perhaps they could have gone for a much cleaner post-plant scenario, but can't blame them when CES just actually fought them then and there.
Yeah, Cerberus, this is a good start for them. They forced the fight. They took a fight that was favored to them, and they made Full Sense respond to them. This isn't something that they did in the previous rounds here, and this is overall just a much better showing from them. But Loki could get timed here. Might not expect someone so close, and in an awkward scenario, Lammy Snacks to follow suit. Kishi was there to take him out. 3v5, and this should pretty much be the my frenzy doesn't do that at long range. Cha-la-la-la, how are you able to get that? But still a 2v2. He's got quite a couple scalps to find. Not gonna land the mark this time, as they know where Superbuzz is. He's going for those lineups, and that's gonna stop them from going for that defuse for now. But Suka is keeping his opponent occupied right here. As they do the cha-cha around these arches, it's gonna be Cerberus to yet again find another victory.
Really impressed by how CES has played the first couple of rounds into the second half. You would expect that, you know, for most players, especially for players who are not familiar with how it is to play in actual tournaments, you can't afford to get intimidated just because you heavily, the first half didn't heavily go in your favor. If you're down for the count on the first half, the second half is a chance to reset mentally. CES obviously did this mental reset. They're coming in hard in the second half.
4 rounds is only what separates them here. And in a map like Breeze, we've seen a lot of, I'd say, turnaround games. This could be no exception. PTC looking to open things up, and with a great shot onto that Phantom, he will find Loki. No one to trick this time, as they will be able to secure that B site. They will leave someone lurking behind, though, so it's cha-la-la-la. He's gonna be checking this flank consistently. Now the tripwire was destroyed. This gives cha-la-la-la information that there should be players coming in from the flank. But from the front, it's Suka to open up this retake here, as it's a great shot to land onto Akashi. Will not find the follow-up because Kishi's got the better of him this time, and the double flank might prove to be very deadly here. And it's looking like double jeopardy, but no, Full Sense keep things in check as they get 10-5 on this round, and they are able to take away the bonus round of Cerberus.
You know what, Illustrato? Cerberus is on defense, yes, and they do have Loki on that Viper. He does play B site. And the thing is, he can do one thing that can really solidify the defense on B. FS, they're pretty much full setting on B time and time again. What Loki should be doing right now is, again, setting up that toxic screen vertically for backside. And that allows for a very clean retake scenario from the rest of the CES squad. If you notice, Full Sense, they stacked over there in backside, all of them. And that just denies that possibility if you set up that toxic screen in that way.
PTC just no fear. Supported by that Aldrone. Kishi lines up one, but still, it's a great entry. Yet again, they're finding so much vulnerability here onto this B site. It's going to be a nice wall bang. The backup is right there, but a 1v1 is what they find. Cha-la-la-la going up against DAY2. 10 HP on him, and the spike is still planted in the has not been planted. It's dropped in the middle of sight. Cha-la-la-la will have to recover, and he lands a ripper of a shot right there onto DAY2. Finding the head, Full Sense will find themselves closer and closer to map point.
I'm just seeing a distinct lack of utility usage over there on the defense B side, man.
Yeah, you're right. It's just, it feels like the B site has just been the biggest area of weakness here for Cerberus. They need to find a better way of, I'd say, containing that attack, because Full Sense have been finding the entries time and time again. All they need to do is they throw out the Viper wall, an Aldrone alongside the entry of PTC, bam, they have a kill and a sight. So this is starting to look a little bit shaky for Cerberus. Especially, they've been failing to set up the proper crossfires, they haven't been getting the defensive trade frags, and it's all going Full Sense's way.
You know, they were able to set themselves up really well coming into the second half, but now Full Sense has gained the momentum back. And it doesn't look like they're going to drop the ball at this point in time, but Kishi at least gets a pick onto PTC.
The Seeker's deployed to get him out of a corner here. He has a rifle to work with Kishi. And this is looking like a better start. They have rifle. They have one rifle, however. And they could actually pick up another if they dare to go and pick up into cave. The spike is dropped in a very unfortunate spot here for Full Sense. So it's the long road to recovery here for them. But Cha-la-la-la will be spotted out as Lammy Stacks will be going for those pickoffs. And he's going to find yet again another one all the way here. That's the rifle gone from the hands of Cerberus, leaving Loki all alone. Cannot connect. And it's Cha-la-la-la yet again. Not even Christmas yet. They've got themselves a nice little present here in the form of match points.
Full Sense poised to take this map away from CES in a very dominant performance. John Olsen atop the scoreboard with 21 frags. Indubitably a stalwart performer throughout this entire game, but the rest of his team actually stepping on up, especially Lammy Snacks, Cha-la-la as well. Again, the main weakness of CES here. The main pitfall has been the distinct lack of utility usage, and they just couldn't stop the aggression of Full Sense time and time again. PTC looking to make an opening with the Blade Storm. See if he's going to go on the lurk, perhaps dash on his side.
And that Blade Storm onto PTC, he's had that up so often.
Yeah.
It's just the amount of kills that he's had. Same thing with John Alston. How many Seekers did we see almost round after round? It's just the amount of kills and orbs that they have been getting has been allowing them so many clean entries onto the site, and at the same time, so many clean defensive holds. This is textbook performance from Full Sense. They force Cerberus to result to Hail Mary plays. Very desperate formations that really don't always pay off here. Now they say exactly like we're seeing right now. They have Loki setting that ultimate in A and then having everybody else around mid and that ultimate towards B and around A. But Full Sense are not afraid. And they win the duels anyway. That's B side completely open and the Viper Spit gone. The gamble just doesn't pay off at all. Uh-oh. And that's a big whiff from Kishi. Massive whiff. But he somehow comes out of it on top. That's going to be a little bit of a saving grace as PTC, yet again, is able to shut down Suka completely with a quick blade to the face. Going to have a little bit of trouble here. It looks like Full Sense might be going on ahead, but Kishi's got something to say about that. Hunter's Fury, PTC will use this right click prematurely, but Lammy Snacks to stave them off for now, gives up his position, but does it matter in the end? Full Sense looking like they're ready to take game number 1. Will they be able to take this and claim this? It's DAY2. He's not going to get anywhere close. Look at this triangle of doom, the crossfire. Once one peeks out, so will the rest. And that's going to be sending DAY2 and the rest of Cerberus across the river Styx yet again. Pay the boatman because Cerberus is going back 0-1.
Won't be clawing out the gates of hell just yet in this first map for the side of Cerberus. Full Sense, again, showing their full strength here, Listrato. And again, we